they're typically younger than me, so it's like 20, 24, something like that, and just the disconnect between we're the same generation. I think we're the same generation. I'm not too sure. I don't know how it works. I don't know what the divide is, but you're my ninth follower. Do I even have 9 followers? I have four. It says on my thingy. I'll check. I thank you for following me. Um, I hope I can. I hope I can. What's the word I'm looking for? I hope that I can show that your follow was worth it. I guess with streaming consistently and I don't know, showing up. But it's it's definitely strange just being able to be like I'm sitting here. I'm not an adult. I mean, I guess that I am. But I don't feel it. But I guess that I am technically an adult in the sense of the most basic terminology. But for me, it's just odd. Just the whole thing, just odd. And I don't really understand half of the stuff. Okay, no, hang on. Let me rephrase this. Let me try that sentence again. I was trailing off. Um, I can understand and relate to a lot of the people that are younger than me, but it's not in the sense of like I get it at the same time. I get it, but I don't. Like the whole like the 6'7" meme. I think it's funny because it's ridiculous, but I don't think it's funny because of the joke itself. If that makes sense. Like I know we grew up with like the fucking 9 plus 10, 21, and 69 being the funny number for so on and so forth. But it's it's dumb, and I think that's why it's funny. But what worries me is that a lot of things are like that. I mean, maybe it's just the set. Maybe it's just growing up. Maybe this is just a part of growing up where you realize, like in the moment, like if I was growing up and I was like 19, 20 now, and I'm sitting here thinking all this stuff is funny, I'll then think that whatever comes after that is then not funny. Maybe it's just a sign of growing up. The dab was my favorite trend. Yeah, I've I've done that definitely a few times in high school. Um, I'm trying to think. So I've forgotten half of them. That's the thing I've forgotten. I remember remember like, what was it? YouTube used to have those like meme of the month things you used to do, and you used to get the like every month it'd have like a specific meme to it, and at the end of the year it'd be like a meme review thing, and I just sort of stopped one day. I remember that an awful lot. There was I can't even think. That's the thing. I don't remember an awful lot of high school actually. I don't. It's kind of like blocked from my memory. Um, but yeah, that one as well. Yeah, a lot of Vine quotes were around. Now it's all TikTok stuff. It's the same. It's the same thing, just in a different skin, basically. And I think that's why I don't try to kind of downplay. Like I don't think like stuff like this is stupid in the sense of like how dare you say this to me? Why aren't you being funny? Kind of thing. I just recognize it as a sense of like you find this funny in the same way I found the exact like similar thing funny back when I was growing up, back when I was your age, back in my day, kind of thing. I've started saying that an awful lot, and I don't even know why. Just in the sense of like, how back in my day we didn't laugh at such silly things like 6'7". We laughed at 6'9", like fucking real people, stuff like that. We are. I think we might be, like we might be unks, but I'm okay with that. My uncle was really cool, so I'm happy with being an unk. I'd rather not, I'd rather be an unk than someone's estranged father. To be honest, that's my goal in life. If I can be called unk, then I'll take it. But anything else, I'm not happy with. Like if I start getting called granddad, that's when I'm going to draw a line. But anything before that, I'm fine. But no, it's weird. It's such a strange thing to be growing up with. Your son might grow up without knowing prime memes. I am making sure that if I ever have a kid, I am not raising them with like Mr. Beast videos, like that. Because you know what, I was on this bus. I was on a bus, right? It was like 2 years ago, and I was returning from my previous job. I was on a shift, and I was just taking the bus home because I was like, I can't be bothered walking. Um, and I was, I got on, and I was sitting behind this woman and her son, and I was just minding my business. I was on my phone checking Instagram, right, as you do, and I turn around. Well, no, okay, I don't turn around initially, but I'm sitting there, and just listening in. I don't have my headphones in or whatever, and I hear her go, "Yeah, you like your skibbity toilet, don't you?" And I thought it was a joke. I thought skibbity toilet was just this joke online, but it was actually real. So I was really fucking terrified of it. I was like, "What in the actual shit is this? There is no way this is real. There is no way this is genuine." But yeah, no, it's weird. It's just I think because we grew up without. I mean, we grew up with the internet, but we had enough of a disconnect from it to where it didn't become like the prime thing that we focused on. Like I remember a lot of days where I would come home from school and I would go out on my bike for a bit, cycle around. I would get told to leave the house more often than not, but I would go out and about, climb trees for a little while, then come in and then play on my Xbox or whatever. The Jordan memes. I might not. I don't think I do on those ones, unfortunately. They sound familiar, but I couldn't tell you what they are off the top of my head, unfortunately. But it's such a weird feeling of like knowing that there's kids growing up these days with like it's like the whole iPad kid. Like okay, the job that I work, I have to deal with the general public an awful lot, and when I'm walking out like handing out orders or whatnot, or like dealing with them, there's a amount of times I've seen a kid who's probably no older than like 4 or 5, and they have an iPad like almost fucking like sellotaped to their face. It's that close to it, and they're just watching some bright suck. I don't know. I can't even describe it. Like just this complete, just sort of abstract. Like this is not something that's teaching them anything. This isn't like a show that's imparting any sort of wisdom or life experience on them. It's just noise and bright flashy colors and wacky funny noises, and I feel sorry for them because I don't really know how they're going to grow up. And knowing that I grew up with kind of the internet in a peripheral sort of sense, where I wasn't on it all the time, but I did spend my formative years kind of experiencing it, kind of develop from it being this, just this, sort of this forum website to the massive, like media giant that it is nowadays. Because like back in our day, like back when we were kids, you know, a YouTuber becoming a full time, like making that a full time job was unheard of, right? It was very rare, and now it's like the shoe was thrown in the pool. 3 or 4 black people saved it by hitting up, passing each other. They all drowned afterwards. It still doesn't. It sounds more familiar, but I'm not. Was it on Vine? Oh yeah, with the comically large spoon. Yeah, just a spoonful. Yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember the Jordan one, unfortunately. The Vine compilations, but it's 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 just this really strange sort of feeling of knowing that maybe this is just how it's always been. Story time with friends. I think I do. Vaguely. So this is the problem. My memory is not as good as it used to be, and that's really worrying because a lot of this stuff just sort of gets filtered out. Um, but whatever. It's it's just weird to think because for me it was like I worry that I think about the set. Yeah, we're unks definitely. I'm just getting old. That's all it is. Um, it's just that I'm worried about. I don't know if it's the sense of like this is how it's always been because like okay, if you look it up online, you'll see like people from other generations reacting to things that we now take for granted, right? So, like back when the television was first released, or like when it was invented and when it became commercially available, there's a lot of people that were thinking it was a waste of time because they're like, oh, it's stupid. Kids should be reading books. Kids shouldn't be doing this. It's a behavior that goes back thousands of years. Um, so I've always kind of wondered, is my adverse reaction to all of this stuff just a sign of growing up, or is this an actual concern that is not being addressed because of some larger issue at play? At the moment, books are useless. Yeah, listen. I write as a hobby, just for fun, and there's been a worrying trend of even stuff like Instagram captions, sorry, being written with ChatGPT, and they're not even difficult captions to write down. They're just like explaining the post, and it's used by AI. People are just not bothering anymore, and it's sad to think about. Like, I've heard people like the whole like media literacy is just down like astronomically, or like there'll be like kids submitting essays in high school because they're using ChatGPT to write everything for them, and it's not even hard stuff to write. Or there's that one kid that like he graduated college, but his entire like thesis statement or whatever he was doing for his college was written by ChatGPT. Just purely BMW was a car that was created in Ronaldo. Yeah, it's very. There's no flair to it. There's no flair in people's vocabulary anymore. There's no sort of desire to like actually embellish how you speak with a vocabulary that's actually unique to you. It's all just the sort of same cookie cutter stuff. And what worries me is you'll see people that are like, oh, I don't want to talk about this kind of stuff because I just think the same way everyone else does, and I refuse to think in any way, like, what's the word I'm looking for? They refuse to think critically. There you go. They refuse to think critically about absolutely anything. And it's worrying because I'm far from an intellectual. I don't consider myself at all an intellectual. You found one. Let me have a look. Cheapviewersstreamboo.com. I don't know, it seems legit. It seems legit. I don't know. I mean, with the space between the period and the com, it seems legit. It must be a real website. But it's just worrying to me because it's like I've seen. Okay, let's see. Tonight, THV took a turn in the audience as he watched Gracie Abrams and Doja Cat perform at hashtag Vogue World Hollywood. No stranger to a fashion show either. The BTS by. This is so what? Okay. Tonight, the audience as he performed. Stranger to the fashion show either. Anime story. So right, so was it? I'm assuming it was written by like an AI then, and it just took the names of random people and then just well explain it. Yeah, it was the AI. Yeah, so it's not even about the actual thing it's meant to be written about. Okay. See, that's the thing as well. It's like I don't understand. I feel bad for teachers as well. Like they're having to grade all this stuff, and they very clearly know that it ain't working. This is all just noise and a waste of time, and it's worrying to think about. More detailed it is, the more it'll pop up to others. Yeah, I think. Okay, right. I'll admit I have used ChatGPT in the past. Right, I have used it to just out of curiosity. And it is useful for brainstorming ideas, but it is not It is not good for replacing ideas, right? And that's what I feel like a lot of people are doing. They're becoming reliant upon these things to turn around and be like, well, I don't want to think about ideas. I don't want to come up with concepts by myself. I want ChatGPT or whatever they're fucking called to do all the thinking for me. Yeah, you use that shit to ask a genuine question, not write a 3,000 word essay. Yeah, that's exactly the point. Like 2 weeks ago, I used it to try and figure out a soup recipe using stuff that I had in the house, and it made a decent meal. But I was still the one cooking it. I'd still had the ingredients. It was me doing the fucking work. And if I was to if I ever catch myself using ChatGPT to write up proper, full-on like paragraphs worth of information or anything creative I do, I may just kill myself because I just don't think that living in a world where I think I saw something somewhere where it said that there's more AI stuff now than there is human stuff in the world, and that is downright depressing to think about. But yeah, being an author, exactly. See, like you now have to compete with fucking weirdos online that can churn out utter dog shit in 10 minutes, whereas you have to spend months at a time thinking about